بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of The Virtues of Islam. We have reached a virtue which is really famous among people, and it's spoken about a great deal in business settings and in marriages and in any setting where it's necessary to negotiate. And in fact, that's what they call it. They call it the skill of negotiation. In Islam, it's called al-Hiwaar. This is the skill of dialogue, which has been described as having a category of speech between two people or groups, which is characterized by an exchange of words that is done in a peaceful fashion. There is no attempt from one side to monopolize the other. The environment of discussion is peaceful, without argumentation or fanaticism. The word in Arabic for dialogue is al-Hiwaar. The Hiwaar is mentioned 3 times in the Book of Allah. قال سبحانه وتعالى وكان له ثمر فقال لصاحبه وهو يحاوره أنا أكثر منك مالا وأعز نفرا. And the word here is يحاوره. And he had property. And he said to his companion, in the course of the mutual talk between them, and that's the dialogue, I am more than you in wealth and stronger in respect of men. Another place, and this place is also in the Surah of the Cave, the 18th Surah, قال له صاحبه وهو يحاوره أكفرت بالذي خلقك من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم سواك رجلا. His companion said to him during the talk with him, meaning his dialogue, do you disbelieve in him who created you out of dust, meaning your father Adam, then out of a nutfah, meaning mixed semen drops of male and female discharge, then fashioned you into a man? Another place where the word Hiwaar is found in the Quran, قد سمع الله قول التي تجادلك في زوجها تشتكي إلى الله والله يسمع تحاوركما إن الله سميع بصير. Indeed, Allah has heard the statement of her, Khawla bint Alaba, who disputes with you, meaning Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, concerning her husband, and complains to Allah, and Allah hears the verbal exchange between you both, meaning the back and forth between you, the hiwar. Verily Allah is all-hearing, all-seer. There's a basic foundation to having a dialogue, a basic understanding when people are speaking. First of all, we acknowledge that differences happen between people. We acknowledge this. The Quran says, وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَجَعَلَ النَّاسُ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَلَيَزَالُونَ مُخْتَلِفِينَ إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبُّكَ وَلِذَلِكَ خَلَقَهُمْ وَتَمَّتْ كَلِمَةُ رَبِّكَ لَأَمْتَلَنَّ جَهَنَّمَ مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. And if your Lord had so willed, he could have made mankind one ummah. But they will not cease to disagree, except him who your Lord has bestowed his mercy. So there are differences between people. But in spite of the presence of differences, Allah has placed upon the Siratul Mustaqim guidance. As He said, فَهَدَى اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لِمَا اخْتَلِفُوا فِيهِ مِنَ الْحَقِّ بِإِذْنِهِ وَاللَّهُ يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. And then Allah, by His leave, guided those who believed to the truth of that wherein they differed. So having a dialogue, among the first foundations of it is that we must have sincerity. Because the main issue of having a dialogue, the main object in a dialogue, the main aim in a dialogue is to arrive at the truth. Khatib al-Baghdadi, rahimahullah, said, the purpose of a discussion is to establish the truth and strongly establish it without entering into long argumentation. When a person has sincerity, it does not concern him whether Allah brings the truth from him or the one he differs with. He looks at that person as a helper, not as an enemy. Therefore, he thanks him if he knows him, if he shows him his mistake or shows him the correct way to do something. So when two people are having a dialogue, a discussion, and they don't agree, and one brother shows the other, or one sister shows the other sister where she's mistaken, then that should be looked upon with favor. Thank that brother for showing you your mistake. And sister, thank that sister for showing you your mistake. The person is not an enemy, but rather is a friend. May Allah have mercy on Imam Shafi'i, who said, I have never debated anyone and wished he would make a mistake. And he also said, I have never spoken to someone except that I wanted him to have success, be accurate, and be helpful. I never spoke to someone except that I never cared whether Allah clarified the truth upon his tongue or upon mine. Al-Hafiz ibn Rajab, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, as a footnote to the words of Imam al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah, the statement of Imam al-Shafi'i indicated that he did not have any intention in his speech except that the truth be clarified, whether it's from his tongue or the tongue of the one who opposed him. Whoever has this outlook is not concerned that his words are contradicted by someone who opposes him or debates him during his life. And this is the proper outlook, not to debate to show off, or debate to make someone look foolish, or to bedazzle people with our ability to speak, but rather is to arrive at the truth. Another quality of sincere dialogue, sincere negotiation, is knowledge. Allah has deemed it blameworthy to dispute without knowledge, to dialogue without knowledge, to speak without knowledge. He says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يُجَادِلُ فِي اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَلَا هُدًى وَلَا كِتَابٍ مُنِيرٍ. And among men is he who disputes about Allah without knowledge or guidance or a book giving light from Allah. The word for dispute in this previous verse is yujadilu, from the word ajadal, which means to twist the rope or twine tightly together. What is this mujadala? It's when a person defends himself from being undermined and argues to defend his statements. This can be done using actual evidence or it could be a baseless argument, which is an argument that lacks any value when a person knows the truth. Our predecessors, our pious predecessors, the Salaf al-Salih, forbade arguing with people who innovate in the religion as a precaution against someone with weak understanding being overcome by someone with false evidence. So even when someone is innovating something in the religion, doing something of worship that should not be done because it has no sanction from Allah and no sanction from the Messenger, a person doesn't have strong understanding, they shouldn't debate with them, because the person who has false understanding might sound stronger, be more convincing, and may confuse this one. Ibn Taymiyyah said, a person whose knowledge is weak about evidence and how to answer religious doubts is prohibited from getting into debates and discussions. It is feared that someone like this could be harmed by a deceiver. In the same way, it's not justified to send someone weak into a fight. He also said, it is surprising that people want to make Islamic legislation victorious using their weak intellect and corrupted analogies to do so. What this does is make a passageway that encourages renegades of the religion to attack it. So these people do not give Islam a victory, nor do they defeat those who oppose it. So what is meant by knowledge? Knowledge contains two elements. One, knowledge of the legislation from the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Knowing what a person of responsible age is obliged to do in the affairs of worship and in his conduct toward others. So first, knowledge is knowing what a person is obliged to do who's of a responsible age, what he's responsible to believe, and how he's responsible to conduct himself in the religion and toward others. Knowledge of Allah and the obligation to establish His commands and understand that He is free of any shortcomings, meaning Allah is free of any shortcomings. This is a central point of tafsir, hadith, and fiqh. Knowledge of, the next thing is knowledge of the methodology of those people who first learned of Islam and spread it. Their statements and actions and what they understood and what they believed. Imam Awza'i, may Allah have mercy upon him, said, as for the remainder of you, outside of those people who known as the Salaf al-Salih, the pious predecessors, outside of them, knowledge is what comes from the companions of the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if it did not come from the companions of the Messenger of Allah, it is not knowledge. Ibn Taymiyyah said, the companions are the most knowledgeable people about the foundations of the religion. They learned this knowledge from the most knowledgeable of Allah's creation, meaning the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If something was unclear to them, they asked him. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would answer them in a way that would remove their misunderstanding and clarify what was correct. Therefore, if they were the most knowledgeable about the foundations of the religion, not the people of innovation or vain desire, or the people of heretical kalam, or those who follow their paths. So this was the way the companions were. They got their understanding in belief from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they got their understanding in worship from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they got their understanding about human character from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they got their understanding of what was obligatory in interaction between them and other people from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if they didn't understand something, they asked him, and he answered them in a clear way that allowed them to understand. Another foundation of proper dialogue is returning to the text to prevent arguments. Wherever there is a disagreement between people, boundaries are necessary to keep the discussion disciplined and to control its distance. Keep the discussion disciplined and to control the distance of the discussion. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala said, مَا اخْتَلَفْتُمْ فِيهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَحُكْمُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. And in whatever you differ, the decision thereof is with Allah. He is the ruling judge. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala said, وَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرَدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَحْسَنُ تَأْوِيلًا. And if you differ in anything among yourselves, refer it to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you believe in Allah and the last day, that is better and more suitable as a final determination. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya said, the nature of the word shay, if you differ about anything in the context of something conditional, is a general meaning. It means if you differ about anything that believers differ about in the issue of religion, whether it be a major or minor thing, the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam contain the clarity and the sufficiency in its rulings to settle the point of difference. More about this, inshallah ta'ala, in our next episode. I'm Talib Abdullah for the Sharjah Media Broadcast Corporation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.